Trump tariffs, they're talked about on a day in, day out basis right now. Let me be very crystal clear. Millionaires will be made in 2025. What I'm showing you in front of you right now is Vanguard. They're showing you bull markets versus bear markets over time in the sheer size and power of the bull market versus a bear market. And what you find when you look at an illustration like that is a bull market is essentially a massive tsunami, and a bear market is nothing more than an ocean wave. And people many times fear the bear markets. They get so panicked over these things. But the thing you should be much more fearful of is making a decision to not buy stocks during a bear market and not participating in those bull markets, because those bull markets are an absolute tsunami of money to be made. Every generation gets 5 to 7 times in their adult lifetime, their earning lifetime, so the time period where they're not retired, the time period when they're not a child, they get 5 to 7 times in their life where they get to buy stocks at prices they never thought possible. And let's be very crystal clear about this. We are going through one of those time periods in 2025. As of this morning, NASDAQ is down 25% here very recently. The Russell 2000 is down around 28% here very recently. We're seeing volatility in 2025 move to the highest levels we've honestly just about ever seen. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And 2025 is going to remain an insanely volatile year, and it's going to be a millionaire maker year. Now, people who are brave enough to buy during a crash in the market and buy during this insane volatility and uncertainty, right? People that have more income than expenses, let's be very clear about this. Every future generation looks back and they say, "You're so lucky. You're so lucky you got to buy in XYZ year. Wow, what an opportunity that was." But little do they know, both of those things are controllable, right? And many people are not brave enough to buy during a stock market crash. They're not brave enough to say, you know what, I know there's a million things uncertain. I know they're saying this time's different than all the other crashes before where they also said this time was different. It takes a very brave person to say, I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to buy. They're giving me 0 reasons to buy, and I'm going to buy because the market's in a crash right now, right? It's not about luck. It's about having more income than expenses and being brave enough to actually go out and do it. And if I show you some of the ones just in my investing lifetime, right? We could go back to 2022. Keep in mind the NASDAQ as of right now is in the 16,000 range, right? It's around 16,000. And that's after the crash. Look at this. The NASDAQ in 2022 was around 10,000. You could have bought the NASDAQ for around 10,000 then. Would you not have wanted to do that? Of course you would. 2020, in the 2020 crash, so uncertain, NASDAQ got down to 7,000. Wouldn't you love to buy the NASDAQ at 7,000? Oh, yes, you would. 2018, NASDAQ went down to around 6,200. Wouldn't you have loved to buy the NASDAQ at 6,200, considering it's 16,000 today? 2016, NASDAQ fell significantly down to the 4,000 range. Gosh, wouldn't you love to buy the NASDAQ at 4,000? 2011, NASDAQ fell to the 2,300 to 2,400 range. NASDAQ today is 16,000. 2008, 2009, NASDAQ fell to around 1,300 or so. Gosh, that sounds really, really attractive, right? And people that were buying during all these different time periods, they weren't lucky. They were brave enough to buy, and they had more income than expenses. They made sure they didn't overspend, right? They made sure they were working hard, had a good income. If they didn't have a good income, they went and found another job with better income or started a business or side hustle or got a second job. They did whatever they had to do to make sure they had more income than expenses. And they were brave enough to go out there and buy stocks. Because every single time period, people said, this isn't the bottom. We got a lot lower to go. This is a major crash run. It's never coming back. This time's different, right? They didn't get lucky. They went out there and made it happen, right? In this video here today, I'm going to take you through 20 stocks. I'm going to give you an entire portfolio today that, in my opinion, if people buy these 20 stocks, they will significantly outperform all of the stock market indexes across the entire world with these 20 stocks. And these 20 stocks are stocks to buy nonstop in the short term and make fortunes in the coming years, okay? That's what I'm going to take you through. All I need is one thing and one thing only. I need everybody to smash the like button on this video. That's all I need from you. I hope you can do that for me. I appreciate you in a huge way for doing that. Helps out the channel immensely. Additionally, if you enjoy videos like this, if you get a lot of value out of my content, you might want to hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so, to subscribe here to the channel. We're at around 850,000 subscribers, somewhere around there, roughly in the ballpark, okay? Alrighty, folks, let's go ahead. Now, it's very important I want to start today's video here before we get into these 20, because I don't think a lot of people understand my history and how much stock picking means to me and the stock market means to me. What I'm showing you there is a picture of me, senior year of high school, right? I had no clue where I was headed. I didn't really have any guidance at that particular time trying to push me into, go to this college or do this or those sorts of things. Didn't really have any guidance in regards to that at all. So I had no clue what I was going to do after high school. 18 years old, I had no clue. Like, it wasn't like I had a direction. Like, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm going to do, and these sorts of things. I had nothing, right? And I started running track at the end of my senior year of high school and did well enough to get a college coach to say, hey, come out for the team. And so that got me into community college, actually. And in community college, that is where I was fortunate enough to find the stock market. I entered college the fall of 2008, and as 2008 rolled along and we went into 2009, I got more and more intrigued with this concept of stock picking and basically building out a portfolio of stocks, be able to look at businesses, research them, and then be able to say, I want to buy this stock. I want to buy this stock. And suddenly my life had a lot more meaning behind it, because now there was this thing I was really passionate about that could be a lifelong journey of picking individual stocks, investing into them, right? And then prospering over time. And it was very exciting to me, and it gave me much more incentive to work more, to essentially invest more, save more money so I could invest that money and build my portfolio bigger and bigger and bigger. And it started with very humble amounts. My first investments were $200, $300, $500. And I'm very proud that that was my starting point. Little small amounts of money. And what those built into over time, obviously, was great deals of money, right? And so you look at me today, I'm 35 years old, right? I obviously have many millions of dollars in stocks, many millions of dollars in real estate. And let me be very crystal clear, that would not have ever been possible without three core things. One is God. Like that, none of this happens without God. Two, an incredible amount of work ethic on my part. And three, without stock picking. Without those three things, my financial success in this life never happens, right? Is no way it's possible. There's absolutely no way. And so understand the stock market means a lot to me. I take it very serious, and I love what I do, and I love stock picking, and I hope to do it as long as I can possibly do it. Like, if I could do it till the day I'm in the dirt, like, that's fine with me. Okay, I love this stuff. So just understand that about me. Alrighty, stock number one of these 20 stocks is, I want to start out with the first stock. I want to just give such an easy money stock. One of those stocks at every crash, every correction, you can always buy it. Someday, this one won't be a buy anymore. I don't know when that is, but it's not in this decade. I can tell you that much. It's Amazon. Ticker symbol on this one, AMZN. As of this morning, it's $171. Keep in mind, we're in an extremely volatile market. So what, the stock price will be tomorrow or next week or next month, who knows, okay? These are the stock prices as of this morning, okay? Amazon, $171 stock, a growth company. When I think about Amazon, I think about the e-commerce side of the business. Sometimes we can get so caught up into the PE ratios and the forward Ps and the growth rates and all these sorts of things, right? Sometimes just break it down really simple. Are there going to be a lot more people buying a lot more stuff on Amazon 5 years from now than today? I'll take that bet and say yes, it will be. Because is there any major competitive threat to take out Amazon in the next 5 years? No. Amazon Web Services. It's the backbone of so many companies, backbone of a lot of the internet. Amazon Web Services. Will that be much, let's call it much bigger 5 years from now than today? Absolutely. Amazon's advertising business has been growing like a weed. Is Amazon's advertising business going to be a lot bigger or smaller 5 years from now than today? I'm going to say it's going to be a lot bigger in 5 years than it is today. Incredible balance sheet, incredible income statement, a forward P that's among the lowest forward P you've ever seen in the history of Amazon. And so Amazon's just a very easy money buy for everybody out there. And there hasn't been a crash in the market or a correction in the market where Amazon wasn't a buy. And once again, someday that will be, but it's not this decade. Maybe 10 years from now, that's a different story. Maybe in that correction or crash, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, maybe Amazon will finally not be a buy. But for now, it's a steal deal buy, okay? Number 2 of these 20 stocks is a company named Advanced Micro Devices. Ticker symbol on this one, AMD. As of this morning, it's an $80 stock. It is a growth company. Amazon just hit a new inflection in regards to their growth rate. AMD's been incredibly successful CPU maker over time, moving more and more into the GPU space, in the AI space. Now, AMD is positioning the company, and Lisa Su's positioning the company, to battle NVIDIA over the next 5-10 years in the AI battlefield of inference specifically. Training's been a lot of what's being done right now, but Lisa Su's specifically trying to position the company as well as possible to compete very successfully against NVIDIA when it comes to inference. Now, with that being said, sometimes that scares people because they say they can't beat NVIDIA. There's no way they can't beat NVIDIA. AMD doesn't have to beat NVIDIA to still have this stock absolutely become a behemoth and go to become a $300 stock, $400 stock over the next few years. Some people believe it's going to be at $800, $1,000 stock, 5-10 years from now, right? So when it comes to AMD, phenomenal income statement, everything in the business model is going right. The balance sheet continues to build, right? They just made several major acquisitions here in the past couple of years, including ZT Systems, getting all that integrated. And the technology at AMD is unbelievable. MI350, we're talking MI400 next year. Oh my gosh. And if you look more into the specs of these chips, what they have coming out, I think we're looking really, really good in regards to AMD long term here. Number 3 of these 20 stocks is another easy money one. I said, let me make sure number 1 and number 3 are just easy money ones. Meta. Ticker symbol META on this one. The greatest thing about Meta is it's a growth stock, a value stock, and a dividend stock. You know what else is beautiful about Meta? It's a $511 stock as of this morning. The other beautiful thing in regards to Meta is I would bet you almost every single person watching this video right now, you use at least one of Meta's services on a daily basis. It might be Facebook. It might be Instagram. It might be WhatsApp. It might be Threads. You probably use might be Facebook Messenger. You probably use at least one of their services on a daily basis. Almost every single person watching this video right now. And that's pretty powerful because it's one thing if you can look into a company and you'd be like, man, that company has cool products, but I'll never use that product, right? Like let's say a Palantir, for instance, right? A stock I own that has performed tremendously for me. Like Palantir, a business that's hard for people to wrap their heads around. Meta's not hard to wrap your head around. How do you think they make money? How do they make money? Well, advertisers pay to be in front of you, right? Businesses pay to message you, things like that. It's not rocket science in regards to this one. So everybody watching this video right now can get a grasp on how Meta makes money. And like I said, the fact that this company is a growth company and a value company and a dividend company all in one, you very rarely ever get that opportunity. And the reason it's also a value company in terms of getting attractive valuation, the forward P, you're talking about a forward P on Meta that as of this morning is under 20. A forward P under 20 for Meta with all the double-digit growth they have for years to go in the future. Come on, man. And once again, it's a dividend payer now at this point in time. Now, obviously, we've made tremendous amount of money. I've been fortunate to take so much in profits in regards to Meta at the end of last year, beginning of this year, and I'm still sitting on $748,000 of profits in the public account. And that's even after this crash. But let me be very crystal clear about this. Meta's still an insane opportunity. Just because, you didn't make the $748,000 like I did, it doesn't mean it's not an opportunity for you over the next number of years. No different than if I go buy, AMD stock today at $80, doesn't mean it's not an incredible opportunity just because I didn't buy when it was $2 back 10 years ago. AMD stock was like a $2 stock like 10 years ago. I didn't buy it then, but I'm more than happy to pay $80 for it now. So same thing with the Meta. Just because you didn't buy back when I bought doesn't mean you're not going to make a ton of money over it. All that matters is where the company's growth rates are going in future years and what valuation you're paying for that company. That's all that matters in the end. The rest is just, fun stuff, okay? Number 4 of these 20 stocks is SoFi Technologies. Ticker symbol this one SOFI, $9.50 stock. This morning, growth company. SoFi, they're the future of banking, right? Fintech, and they really do a phenomenal job of getting people into their ecosystem through different routes. So maybe you it could be somebody that has $15,000 in credit card debt, right? They could go ahead and they could say, okay, I could pay that $15,000 off with, let's say, a 23% interest rate to the credit card company, or maybe I could get a loan from SoFi at a 9% interest rate, a personal loan, and then I'll pay off the SoFi loan, right? So somebody does that, then they go ahead and pay off their credit card, with the $15,000 personal loan they took off SoFi. Now they're paying SoFi at, let's say, a 9% interest rate instead of like a 23% interest rate that the credit card company charged. That's just one example of a million ways that SoFi attracts people into their ecosystem. And when SoFi has a customer, a member they call them, in their ecosystem, they can sell them more and more products and services, with the holy grail obviously being checking and savings accounts. If SoFi can get people into checking and savings accounts, now we're really talking. Because that's always the holy grail in the fintech space, the banking space. Because once you have that, then usually people feel very comfortable taking out auto loans with you, home loans with you, right? Credit cards, and it's just an incredible opportunity, right? They feel comfortable investing their money with that platform. So SoFi is doing a phenomenal job across the board. I couldn't be happier with the company. Anthony Noto's got that company through some tough places and out to the other side. And, you want to talk about a company that if he can just get them through the next couple of recessions, we'll be talking about a company, that will eventually be a financial giant. Somebody that will be a company that will have a market capitalization of $100 billion or multi-$100 billion. He's got to get them through the next couple of recessions. So if he can do that, the world is theirs. Number 5 of these 20 stocks is Adobe. ADBE, ticker symbol this one, growth stock and also a value. You look at the forward P on Adobe and it screams value stock, but you look at the growth rates of the company, beautiful, $340 stock. Adobe, at the end of the day, if you are into anything photo editing wise, video editing wise, marketing related wise, you really need Adobe's products and services. They do a phenomenal job. They keep people in their ecosystem. Recurring revenue stream business model, which is the holy grail. It's a $340 stock here today, and I think that stock will eventually go back to $700+. So Adobe, my gosh, great income statement, great balance sheet in that company. Just a tremendous, one of the best business. Let me be very clear about Adobe. Adobe's got a top 10 best business model in the world. You heard me right. A top 10 best business model in the world. It's incredible. Adobe. Next one up here, number 6 of these 20 is Elf Beauty. Ticker symbol on this one is ELF. It's a growth stock. It's $51 here today. Now, Elf, I bought this stock back when it was a $7 stock, right? And the stock went all the way over to $200 last year. Then the stock crashed. Now it's $51. Obviously, everybody's worried about tariffs, all that sort of stuff, right? And sure, that all hits ELF, and it all negatively affects ELF, right? But all that political related stuff, tariff stuff, what I have found over my 16 plus years of being in the stock market, including going through the current president's first term, is this stuff's here today, gone tomorrow. Then the sun comes out again, companies adjust their business models, and everything's fine. ELF's been through this game, they'll get through it again. Can it affect the company's short-term numbers for one quarter or another quarter? Sure. Does it matter to me as a long-term investor? Not at all. ELF will eventually be a $200, $300, $400 stock again, and at $51, it's a steal deal of a stock. And in regards to this company, they can expand all over the world. That's the best part with them because they're so successful in social media, they can expand everywhere. Number 7 in these 20 stocks is Whirlpool. Whirlpool, ticker symbol this one, WHR. It's a value and dividend stock, $77 here this morning. Whirlpool, appliance maker, not the most exciting business model. They make refrigerators and washers and dryers and, all that type of stuff, right? At the end of the day, I am of the belief that the housing market starts to come back in the second half of 2025, and the housing market builds in terms of the amount of people moving in 2026 and 2027. And finally, we get back to actually healthy amounts of people moving again, which the housing market's been frozen the last couple of years. Okay, so that's what I believe is going to happen. And if that does play out, Whirlpool's set up to be in a phenomenal position over the next few years. Because when people move, a lot of people like to buy new appliances for the new place they're moving into, right? New washers, new dryers, new dishwashers, new ovens, new, refrigerators, all that stuff. And so I believe Whirlpool will have a pretty strong comeback for the next at least couple years, if not the next 3 or 4 years, okay? And being an American company and really being the only American appliance maker, I think given the administration as well, I think they also set up very well for the next several years as well. So Whirlpool's actually really intriguing opportunity at $77. Next one up here, number 8 of 20 is Nike. Ticker symbol on this one, NKE. It's a value stock and dividend stock, $53 here this morning. Nike, another one that's just been killed with all the tariff stuff, right? China tariffs, Vietnam tariffs, all the stuff. It's all going to work itself out. People are freaking out over this. Listen, I know Trump can, be a little wild, but I really don't think he wants to, crash the economy so we can all start making Nikes in the factory again. I really just don't believe that. And so, they'll be fine. They'll make it out to the other side. Their brand's obviously, one of the greatest brands in the history of mankind. It's one of those brands you can say it around the world. People know what it is. And they'll make it out to the other side and be just fine. And their growth rates, I think, start to pick back up back half of this year and then going into 2026, 2027. So Nike's a multi-year, very exciting stock. And it's also a stock that you'll probably feel comfortable holding for the next 5 to 10 years because I doubt they'll go through another mess like they've gone through for a long, long time. Elliott Hill will get this ship pointed back in the right direction. And it's up, up, and up from there. Number 9 of 20 is Winning Resorts. Wynn Resorts, ticker symbol on this one, WYNN. It's a value and dividend stock, $66 here this morning. They're the highest end player, really, when it comes to Las Vegas Strip with their Wynn and Encore properties. They're really the highest end player when it comes to Macau with their Wynn and Encore properties in Macau. Additionally, Wynn Palace. They also operate a property in right outside Boston, Encore Harbor, Boston Harbor. And additionally, they're building a property right now in the Middle East, which is a pretty extraordinary opportunity. And it looks like they're going to have the exclusive gaming rights when that property does open here in the next couple of years. They'll have exclusive gaming rights in that entire area for years to go in the future. So before they face any competition, which there is really no competition for Wynn. So Wynn is, and keep in mind, I think we're likely going into a lower interest rate environment over the next 12 to 24 months, which I think also bodes very well for a company like Wynn Resorts. So they also own land. They have a land bank for this company. I think they're looking really, really good. I like Wynn Resorts a lot. Number 10 of these 20 stocks is Google McDougal. Yes, GOOG on Google. Obviously, Google search. Everybody knows that. YouTube. Everybody knows that if you're watching this video right now, right? Waymo. I'm so impressed with Waymo. I took a bunch of I went out to San Francisco back in, when was that? It was around end of December into January. I took a lot of Waymo rides. Very impressed. Not perfect, but very impressed overall with what they have there. And I could see Waymo honestly taking off across the entire United States over this next 5 years and being in every big city and in mass. So impressed. When it comes to their cloud business, obviously that's a tremendous business. They're kind of a third player there, but it's still very successful. Their AI, Gemini looks like to be the highest rated AI out there. So that looks looking really good. Additionally, whenever I use AI for something Google search related, it seems to do a very good job for me as well. So I think Google's actually, I think there's a strong argument to be made that they're winning in AI, even if, the numbers don't show it right now in terms of money being made from it or users. I think long term they're setting up very well. So $147 stock, forward P of like 16, 17-ish on this company right now. I think it's very attractive. One of the best income statements you'll ever see. One of the best balance sheets you'll ever see. So I really like Google. Android's very well positioned, obviously. I mean, just a behemoth of a company. So yeah, they're positioned very well. Okay. Before we get in the back half of this video, the 11 through 20 stocks, I want to do a call to action for my private stock group, private wealth group, Discord chat, 1000xstocks.com if you want access to all that. All my best course curriculums, Access 1000xstocks.com, the software, the premium software I use on a daily basis to see if I'm getting a great deal on stock, getting ripped off, all that good stuff. Pin comment down there. You can click on that, fill out a form. We'll see if we can get you access to that maybe in the next week or so. Okay. And, a lot of you guys have been kind of gambling money out there in the market. You don't know what you're doing, things like that. It's time to take things to a higher level and be confident when you go to make decisions. You never want to feel like you're taking a gamble. I never feel like I'm taking a gamble when I go to make a stock decision. I feel like I'm making a sound decision. That doesn't mean every time I'm going to make money, because there will be times that even with all my experience, I'll still make a mistake, and that's fine. But the moral of the story is get a lot more right than you get wrong, and you're going to make a lot of money in this game over time, right? So once again, that pinned comment down there, fill the form, we'll see if we can get access to that in the next week, okay? Number 11 of these 20 stocks is Cheesecake Factory. Ticker symbol on this one is CAKE, C-A-K-E. Cake's a beautiful stock, and here's why. I view this stock very similar to kind of like a Meta, where I view it over the next many years as kind of being a growth company, a dividend company, and a value company. Obviously, dividend part, they pay a great yield. Yield is like 3% plus on this one. Value stock, you look at the forward P on the stock, and it's somewhere between about 10 and 12, depending upon where their EPS shakes out this year. Additionally, when I think about a growth company, I think about a company that I can think for the next 10 years, they have a runway of growth that's just, not even a question. When I look at Cheesecake Factory with the North Italia concept and the Flower Child concept, those are two bangers for the next 10 years for expansion, right? And then they got a bunch of concepts coming behind those, but those are two like easy money concepts that are going to be successful all over the United States of America over this next 10 years. And so I really think they're kind of positioned kind of like a Meta. They're in that sweet spot of being a growth, value, and dividend company. $44 stock here today. Steal deal. I love that one. I've been buying shares nonstop here for the last year pretty much. And I don't even plan to stop. I'm still buying. Someday I'll be done buying cake, but I don't even know when that is, man. The stock needs to go so high from here to make me say I'm done buying it. Like if cake was like $150, I would probably stop buying it. But even at $50, $60, $70, $80, $90, I would still be happy, more than happy to buy cake shares, because it's so clear for me to see their growth runway of this company for the next 10 plus years, given they got two banger concepts. And you know how hard it is to make one restaurant concept that you could expand all over the United States of America into every big city, and it's going to be super successful, great margins, and those sorts. You know how hard that is? Cake's already done it with Cheesecake Factory, and now they're doing it with North Italia and Flower Child. That's incredible, man. That's absolutely incredible. So, I love cake. Number 12 of 20 here is PayPal Holdings. PYPL on this one is a value stock, $57 a share. Obviously, PayPal and Venmo, great services. The numbers are self-explanatory when it comes to PayPal. Now, you can look at revenue growth and you say, oh, that lags a little bit. They're really focusing the company. Alex Chris is really focusing the company on making sure they're having profitable growth. They're not just growing for growing's sake. So really the only negative you can say is the revenue growth looks a little weak. Well, keep in mind the consumers got hit a lot by inflation the last few years, right? And you can also keep in mind, if you're focusing only on, good margins, sometimes it's going to hurt your revenue growth in the short term, but PayPal's looking really good over the next number of years. Number 13 and 20 here is a company called The Trade Desk, TTD, tech company that helps businesses essentially with advertising. And when it comes to Trade Desk, this one has fallen so much, it's actually become a buy now at this point in time. Used to be a high flyer in terms of the valuation, the stock price. That's no longer the situation. It's a growth company, $45 stock. I actually like the Trade Desk here. Number 14 and 20 is Honest Company, HNST. Honest makes diapers, wipes, soaps, shampoo. Not the most exciting business model, I understand, but this is a company that has an incredible opportunity over the next number of years. They built the balance sheet into one of the strongest small cap balance sheets you'll ever see, loaded with cash to the sky, no non-existent debt. At the end of the day, regardless of Trump tariffs and trade wars, and regardless of, the economy, people still need to buy diapers. They still need to buy cosmetics products. They still need to buy lotions and all that stuff. It's regardless, the company still does well in any environment, right? It's a value company, $4.10 stock here today. I absolutely love the Honest Company. Absolutely love this one, and what a job Carla Vernon's done. You know, you want to talk about a CEO who's done a pretty legendary job turning around this company. Shortly after Carla Vernon joined the company, it was a $1 stock, and she's done tremendous job. You know, you could look at basically right after she came in versus where the margins are at today, the revenue, the EPS, everything, and it's like, oh my gosh, like she pulled off a miracle here. So she's done a heck of a job. Really, really proud of her and the whole Honest team in the job they've done there. Number 15 of these 20 stocks, this one you might have never heard of. It's called ProShares Ultra Pro Russell 2000. Ticker symbol on this one, URTY. So it's a 3x leverage on a daily basis of the Russell 2000. It's $22 as of this morning. This one, listen, the Russell has done nothing for like 4.5 years now. I do not think that's going to last. I'm actually bullish. I'm bullish on the Russell 2000 for the Trump administration, believe it or not. I know no one wants to own the Russell right now. Everybody hates it. I'm actually bullish on small caps. If you look at from the time, you know, Trump got into office to essentially right before Rona, the Russell was doing amazing. And small caps were doing amazing. A lot of small businesses were doing amazing. Then obviously Rona came out of nowhere and that screwed up things really bad. And so everybody's so bearish on these small caps and they think these small caps are going to do horrible under Trump. And I don't believe that at all. And I think the Russell sets up very, very well for the next several years. And so, you know, something like a 3x leverage on a daily basis for something like the Russell 2000, I think could perform tremendous over the next few years. You know, where it is in the next few weeks, the next few months, that's anybody's best guess. Like, who knows? It could go to 20 or 19 or whatever, right? But the moral of the story is, I think, you know, for the next few years, you know, don't be surprised if this one's $60 or $80, you know, a few years from now. Number 16 to 20 up here is Micron. Ticker symbol this one, MU. Growth stock that's also trading at an insanely attractive valuation. Look at the forward P of Micron. Look at the growth rates. It looks very attractive. Micron's one of the biggest memory chip companies in the world. Listen, it's $65 stock as of this morning. If you want to talk about essentially all this AI infrastructure, all these advanced semiconductors, and these semiconductors and the technology just getting more and more advanced, right? Smartphones getting more and more advanced, computers getting more and more advanced, everything tech-wise in the world getting more and more advanced. Guess what you need? You need more memory. There's no way around that. You need more memory. Who do you go to? A company like Micron. And you can't just like jump into space and try to compete with a company like Micron. Like, it doesn't work like that. So actually like Micron, $65 stock, you know, yeah, not a stock that usually is interesting to me, but at $65, given the growth runway of this company for the next number of years, I actually like it here. Okay. Number 17 of 20 is Shopify. It's been Shopified. Ticker symbol on this one, SHOP, Shop. Growth stock trading at $77, e-commerce company. I mean, they've done such a phenomenal job growing this company over the last 10 years. Like, what a legendary job Toby's done growing this company. And honestly, they're one of the very few companies that you can count on growing around 20% or more almost every single year. Unless there's something dramatic like, you know, massive recession, you could basically count on Shopify growing around 20% every single year. And the best part is if they're growing revenue 20%, they're going to likely grow that earnings per share at a much faster clip because so much of that top line starts to reach the bottom line. Additionally, a company like Shopify can buy back tons of shares because they produce so much cash flow. Their asset-light business model, I mean, I like Shopify a lot. Yeah, $77, give it to me. Number 18 of 20 here is Uber Technologies. Ticker symbol on this one, UBER. Growth stock trading at $65. I actually like Uber here. I do like Uber here. You know, Uber has gotten a bad rep recently because everybody's worried about robo-taxis and cars that drive themselves and things like that. I think Uber will end up partnering with a lot of folks in regards to that. And I don't think Uber is just going to get like replaced. Additionally, when it comes to food delivery, I mean, you know, that's something I just see getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I've even gotten to a point where I'm like almost addicted to ordering Uber Eats. It's ridiculous. Like I started ordering and now I just feel like I order something on Uber Eats almost on a daily basis. It's ridiculous. And additionally, now they have their subscription business model. So they've kind of built it out like a Costco where they have, you pay a subscription either on a monthly basis or annual basis. And so you're kind of incentivized to, you know, use it even more often because you're like, I'm paying for this thing. I might as well use it, right? So I think Uber sets up very well. They can partner with so many companies, right? And, you know, they even have something with Amex where essentially, they'll give you like $10 in free spend each month if you use Amex through Uber or something like that. Like there's so many partnership opportunities for Uber, because when you have that many people using your platforms on a daily basis, like, you're set. So Uber, I understand there's a lot of questions, but actually is a pretty attractive stock at $65. Number 19 of these 20 stocks is nvidia. Ticker symbol on this one is NVDA. It's a growth stock trading like a value stock. Look at the forward P of NVIDIA and you'll be like, oh my gosh, it's trading like a value stock, but they have massive growth. $94 stock. I like NVIDIA here. They are the big dog player in the AI space. We all know that. And, I never expect AMD to beat NVIDIA, because once again, I don't need AMD to beat NVIDIA to still make an insane return on AMD. Let me be very clear though, since I'm including AMD and NVIDIA in this list, let me be very clear about this. AMD is the much better ROI opportunity over the next 3 years and 5 years than NVIDIA, in my personal opinion. Much better ROI opportunity. NVIDIA has more to lose because their business is built out so big in the AI space so far. AMD's not. They're like, the one that's just starting to really reach big growth rates, right? Additionally, more and more chip demand, like AMD has a lot more to benefit from that than NVIDIA does. So although I view AMD right now as a buy at 80 and NVIDIA buy at 94, AMD just has a much better risk reward profile over the next 3 and 5 years. And so if you're wondering, like, what am I actively buying? I'm actively buying AMD, not NVIDIA. But that doesn't mean NVIDIA is not a buy. That's the thing you got to understand. No different than, you could be buying Target stock instead of Walmart stock because you believe Target's a much better opportunity over the next 3-5 years than Walmart. Doesn't mean Walmart's a bad stock. Something to kind of keep in mind there. They could both be buys, right? Like, you could be buying Walmart instead of Costco. Doesn't mean Costco's a bad stock. Maybe just Walmart has more opportunity. Think of it like that. Number 20 of these 20 stocks is, I figured I would end it, since we started on such easy money one, I figured we'd end it on such an easy one. Microsoft. MSFT. Mr. Softy. Growth stock, $354 here today. Microsoft, some business models get that recurring revenue. That's Microsoft. You look at their Azure cloud, right? You look at obviously all of their, business products they have in the marketplace. At the end of the day, like, people just stay signed up for the Microsoft services year in and year out, regardless of the economy, regardless of tariffs and all the drama, right? And so Microsoft's just so well positioned. Obviously, one of the best income statements, balance sheets, cash flows you'll see in the world. And, still nice growth company. And so Mr. Softy, Microsoft, it's a buy. That's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I appreciate y'all for joining me. If you're looking to apply, join my private stock group, private wealth group, my private Discord chat, get access to 1000xstocks.com, all that stuff. Pin comment down there, click on that, fill the form. Let's get you up to a higher level than where you're at now. Much love and have a great day.